Hey everybody, it's Lynn here from A Bit of Birdsong, and we have the journal. It sat out here drying overnight, so this is the big, not big as in this way, but I'm gonna say this will be a chunky art journal. This seems to be really glued in place. I was looking this morning when I came out here with my coffee and thinking, you know, we could glue a little trim, something around this picture. I just love yarn and fibers. And I do like to crochet granny squares, but I'm not a gifted or an experienced, is crocheter a word? I'm just not. I like to make the granny squares. It's really cute, but that's usually a winter thing. But I still love the fibers though. I wonder how that would be. I may do that. I'm not gonna do it right away. I know fibers have a tendency to get ratty if they're just exposed to a lot of wear, and you know, rubbing up against other books and stuff could make that end up not looking that great. But then again, you know, it may be fine. And we care? We talked about that yesterday. I mean, we care about what we make. So I've got a lot of fun trims and fibers. And I was thinking I might go through here and just see if I can find a place where we could let some of these things hang out. I've got the hot glue gun heating up. This looks like part of some granny squares, honestly. And I found this at a thrift store that sells things like this. We have a couple, well, actually 3 different thrift stores close by that sell things like this, craft things that get donated. I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm just thinking at this point. I believe this one has some brighter colors, maybe. And I do want to use some of this stuff. And we're not going to be afraid, as we've already said, to use what we want to use. It's, you know, it'll either turn out great and we're going to love it, or we will learn from it and say, well, I don't want to do that again. And look, if it comes down to ripping something out, if we ripped a whole layer of the cardboard and paper off of here, we could put something else in its place. So I just think we should create, as someone said, with wild abandon. And like Claire said, mad, loony nuts. That's what I'm going for. There is something really fun about that. Oops, put that up there. I'm trying to cut in a way so that it doesn't just unravel, like, well, it's gonna unravel to a certain degree, because look what we're dealing with. See, there we go. Those strings will come apart, or the yarn. And for this, oh look, that's so fun. For this, we're gonna try, I wonder if I should try the hot glue gun. I don't know. Because we could come back later and add, tacky glue if this doesn't hold. And I have done that before. I've used both before. We need to keep it to the edge because I don't want glue going through there and sticking where it's not supposed to. Ooh, this glue gun gets really hot. And yeah, see, I didn't even make it to the right spot. It was burning my fingers. So, maybe I need to wear gloves or something. It's gonna be okay. But I do wish that was down a little lower. Look, it's still moving. That stuff's hot. I'm trying to only touch the places. And then I will worry about the little strings. Oh, that's so cute. I'll worry about the little strings after it's completely dry. Now I wonder if I would have liked the white glue better. I don't know, we could do a test. We could also do a piece on the back and see what we think about that. Well, you know, the thing about having it on some of the edges here, it's going to keep it from unraveling. I said I was going to wait until it was dry, but you know who you're dealing with here. I don't have much patience. Well, I do have patience. I shouldn't be critical of myself, but I like to keep the ball rolling. So let's go over here to the back, and maybe we'll try one with the white glue and just see. Now that I'm looking at it, though, I'm thinking this is going to be a mess. But what if we very carefully try to keep it in the spots that we want it? Luckily, this stitch is, whoever did this, the stitching is really tight, which is good for something like this because it makes it seem more, it's more solid. It's holding up better, and it's giving us more of a surface to put the glue on than if we were working with something really loose. You know what? That was so much easier to lay down. And then I could go back and do some spot glue with the glue gun if I needed to. Because you can see, I'm not going to worry about it though. I'm truly not. I think this is awesome. And oh goodness, I'm glad we saw that. Not that it really matters, but you know, we can put this down underneath. It's just where the edge was over. And I'm not going to worry about a little bit of extra glue because, like I said, it can help some of these spots not to unravel. So what am I doing right now? I'm going through, I want this to be chunky, and we have talked, I've mentioned lately that I wanted something really, I don't know, textured with a lot of fibers and patterns. And sometimes I talk myself into thinking that if I'm going to do something like that, that it's all or none, that I need to make a big fabric journal to be able to put fabric all the way through it. But that's not really true. I was thinking this morning I could just go through here and mix some things in, go ahead and put some things in that feel textured and fun. You know, the kind of things that I've been wanting to use and add. These little things are also great in slow stitch. And that's, I love that too. And we're definitely going to keep doing stuff like that. But for right now, I wanted to use some of these little crocheted and felted pieces. I mean, I sell these, but I don't know that I've really used them for myself. And I want to be able to come back and say, you know, I did use some of these, instead of selling them all because I get busy and don't really think about it. And then I'll think, oh, I wish I had kept some of that. Let's put that big piece on the crayon page. So we got 2 pieces in a row there, which I don't really want to get into doing too much of that right away. I mean, we're in the We Do Not Care Club, so, and I think I said her name, pronounced it Melanie. It's Melanie, I think. It's just spelled different. It threw me off. Melanie, is it Sanders? Anyway, they showed her on The View, and I saw it on Instagram. I saw a clip. I don't watch The View because I just don't watch television during the day. But she was on The View, and then Ashley Judd has started reposting her video, or posting as part of the We Do Not Care Club, which I think is so incredibly awesome. It just makes me so happy. So where was I? Oh, we're part of the We Do Not Care Club. So, and sometimes I say We Don't Care Club, but it's the We Do Not Care Club. Do not care is a whole lot more serious than don't care. We do not care. We do not. I think that's the way you got to do it, with that same passion in your mind and in your heart. You know, we do not care. Ooh, I love this. So we're just going through and adding some chunkiness, because I definitely want to be able to say that I used these things. Where do I want this one? It's so fun to put them at the edge, but it doesn't always have to be that way. I think it does help to put them at the edge in a certain way if you're talking about bulk, because, you know, putting it in the center, I don't know, does it really matter? I do like this with that blue though. So maybe, oh, I kind of like it around the corner there too. So let's put that one there. See what else we have. Oh, there was one of our little flowers that we made. Oh, I want to touch on something, and I'm definitely going to be coming back to this, because I think art journaling, just the term art journal, can be intimidating, because some people say, well, I can't do art, or I don't draw, or I don't know how to paint. And I think an art journal is, I don't think it has to be, I'm not an artist in that, like a trained sense, where I know about, like, I don't ever really look at a color wheel. I mean, I have, especially if I watch a channel and they're talking about how to use that and colors that complement each other. So I have done that and I'm aware of it, but I'm not trained to think about all those things ahead of time. I usually go right out of the lines a lot of times if I start out using some sort of color palette. But I want this to end up being really fun and looking like an art journal. And I want to give us, sorry, I'm grabbing some. I want to give us some prompts and some things to do for myself and to share them too, because I feel like I need help. Oh, I love the yellow around that. You noticed I cut some of the length off of this, and this was the little foam stamp that we made. There's I think it's 2 videos back, the DIY foam stamp. And let's see, let's just run a line straight up through the center to show us, and let's use the dark blue to show us sort of what the structure, this is supposed to be something botanical. But it ended up looking a little like a totem pole. But we were also using a stamp that we didn't pay anything for. It was a very flimsy foam stamp. I think this is pretty. You know, I guess I don't know, we're gonna try it. You could kind of give it a little structure by putting another few lines inside of there. And that's kind of pretty. I'm not going all the way down to the stem. I guess I could. I always do that. I kind of just go on and do stuff without thinking it through. I wonder if we need There, let's do that at the top. Well, I like that. Sorry, we're not going to get completely sidetracked on that kind of thing, but you know, we can bring in images from different places and embellish them. That's a great way to bring in art or images. Oh, I was thinking last night, you could do an entire art journal. If there's a particular artist that you like, I love Alphonse Mucha, and Jay and I met for the first time to go see the Alphonse Mucha exhibit in Raleigh, I think. Isn't that right, Jay? That was our first time meeting in person. I love his art. So you could take an art journal, and of course you have to be careful with copyright. I'm not talking about selling somebody's art, but you could make an album of Alphonse Mucha, or if you love Frida Kahlo, or just, you know, anybody that you really, really love. And then add marks. Go ahead and just embellish the whole thing. And we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna do some of that stuff. You know what? This piece might be way too big for here. I have saved this piece for so long. I just think this is so cool. I've had this for years. I found it at a thrift store. Should I go ahead and use it in here? That's actually really cool. But what I want, that sticking out at the top, oh my gosh, look. This could be serendipitous. It may be that it's finally time to use this whole thing. I see it and I think I can't wait to use this, and then I don't use it because I just end up not having a place for it that feels right. Oops, I got some glue on there, and that's, just pay attention when you're working with a big journal like this. I've learned firsthand because I closed the pages and then realized that there was a little glue there or something, and it's good to go back through when you're working and just check the pages that stuff's not sticking together anywhere. I think that's going to be good right there. So instead of putting the glue here, I'm going to put it on the page so that we have plenty of it. It's running a little bit. I don't really want it to go on that other page, but I do want a lot of it. So when you're at the thrift store, I always go to the section. One of our little thrift stores has an area where they do sell craft things, and they may have little bags of threads or sewing notions or whatever. Oh my gosh, look, that is so perfect. I'm trying to slide it away from the center just a little bit because that might make it close more flat. This is so awesome. I just love this thing. I'm already in love with this journal. And that's just really sticking right there. What was I saying? Oh, but it pays to look at those little things. Actually, I just thought of another thrift store in our area that has stuff like that. Because you may find just a few things that you like, and the rest, you know, you could donate it again, or maybe share it if you go to some kind of group where there are crafters that get together and hang out. So let's start putting, I can't put too much more in. Do really like that green. Now, what would be the chances of being able to get this to stick on the back here? That would be so cool. I really, really love that. I think we're going to go ahead and do it, and I think I'm going to stick with the tacky glue. It just seemed easier. It seemed easier to work with. I don't even know which side. I don't know why I'm looking so closely. It does kind of feel like there's a difference, but then I look and I think, well, there's really not. There must be a slight difference, or my brain wouldn't be doing this to me. I think it has to do with this little piece of blue at the bottom. and I do want that to show. What was I talking about? I have no idea. So I'm gonna stop after this. I've got to go in and clean up the house this morning. It's just something I like to do every morning, and it's so easy to let it go. It is not easy to take care of 4 cats, but you know, if you're gonna have them, you have to stay on top of it, and I try my best. So, and I do like to clean. I would rather be sitting right here, but this is a good place to stop, and this can sit here and dry. So this is going to be our big chunky art journal. Oh, I wanted to show you one more thing. So this is the little rabbit. This is one of the rabbits I made. And I know I've shared this before, but we've got so many new subscribers. I used to make a lot of things out of clay. Hang on and let me grab it. These were like, one of these was in a shelf so high that I had to get up in a chair to get it. He's got a little basket. The only 2 dolls I have left are both male. All the girls sold, and I would take these to the market. But they all have stories that I would write out. And he did have mushrooms that I had made out of clay in his basket, and I've knocked him off so many times. I was afraid I was going to mess up his dreadlocks. I mean, they're not like really delicate glass or anything, but the bakeable clay, and he had handmade flowers in his, or flower petals or something, but both of the trays are empty, so I need to fill those up. You know, I've got all these little miniatures. Oh my goodness, look at all these little lemon slices. I know I'm crazy for doing this, because you know what's going to happen, right? You know that this is going to get knocked off of the shelf, and these things are going to go everywhere. But look how cute. Oh my gosh. Can you see that? And then do I dare put some lemon slices in this little tray? I think we have to. Oh, I believe he had flowers in his. See, one lemon slice has already fallen out. That's okay. So the story behind him, he was a Japanese gardener, and he loved to bring flowers to his wife. I believe that was his story. And seems like there could be one more doll here somewhere. It could be inside. And then the little bunnies. I was writing a children's book, and it was back in, I think, the late 1800s, when a lot of the Staffordshire pottery, I don't know if I'm saying that right, was getting made. And the little bunnies, they were making glass bunnies, and some real bunnies ended up getting into the factory. And somehow the bunnies that were being made from porcelain came to life, and each one had a little piece of the porcelain bunny still on their body. So that's the way you could tell. I know it's crazy. That's the way you could tell in the wild if you were dealing from one of the bunnies from the factory. That was 20 years ago. That's been so long ago, but you can see I have my old initials there, LW. And this was number 14. So all the rest are sold. I had to keep 1 or 2 for myself. I've got one more that hasn't been stained or had the little white painted in the ears or whatever. But I think that's why I just love this. And we were also raising rabbits, my daughter and I, and she was about 9 when we started that. At one point, oh my gosh, I don't know how many rabbits we had, and they do multiply very, very quickly. Those were sweet times. It's very heartbreaking to have to leave your home and everything. But I try to dwell on the good. I dwell on everything I have now, and I am thinking about getting a couple of rabbits again for the rabbit manure for my garden. and I'm thinking about getting some chickens. I just don't know, because I know that's a huge responsibility. We shall see. Well, I think on this note, I'm going to stop, and we'll let this dry, and we'll definitely come back to this. I'm going to go inside and clean my house up and then come back out and play. I hope everyone is having a really good day. I'll be back really soon, and bye for now.